Hello, and thank you everyone for coming tonight to the Parent Information Night for Youth Sports Concussion Awareness. My name is Sasha Welker. I've been a mountain biking coach for 5 years, and I've taken concussion training every year. So we're going to just jump right in. We're spending about 10 to 15 minutes tonight together. Tonight we're going to go over baseline concussion testing, symptoms, and treatments for concussion. All of you are here tonight because the sport your child's in has some inherent risk in a possible concussion. So hopefully you'll leave tonight a little bit smarter than you came. I hope you took a few minutes before the class started to introduce yourself to your neighbors and find out what sport their athlete is playing. So what is a concussion? Some people have said it's getting your bell rung, seeing stars. I've heard kids say I only blacked out for a second. I feel fine, I'm okay. Don't make a big deal about it. I only hit my head. It's just a headache. But in reality, a concussion is more than just a headache. It's a sharp blow to the head causing bruising or injury to the brain. I have a 2.5-minute part of a video I'm going to show you just to give you a better appreciation for the damage caused by a concussion. Remember, this can happen even if you're wearing a helmet or it's just a small fall. There's a bit of medical terminology in this video, but I want you to understand the network of cells that are in the brain that has damage when a concussion happens. This is the link to the video. It's put on by Nucleus Medical Media.
Lying in its bony shell and washed by protective fluid, the brain is also the most fragile organ in the body, with the same texture and consistency as gelatin. Within the brain are over 100 billion nerve cells, called neurons, sending electrical and chemical signals to and from the body. Each neuron has a cell body, a long nerve fiber called an axon, and projections of the cell body called dendrites. Dendrites extend out from the cell body to receive messages from other nerve cells. Axons in the brain connect neurons with each other, which in turn provide extensive interconnections with other brain areas. Because the brain and its nerve cells are so fragile, sudden, rapid movements of the head can cause injuries. During one such injury, called coup contre coup or acceleration-deceleration injury, the brain bounces back and forth against the bony interior wall of the skull. In high-speed coup contre coup injuries, the impact may be violent enough to cause swelling and bruising of the brain tissue, called a contusion. However, in cases involving low-speed coup contre coup injuries, the resulting damage may not be visible to the naked eye. As the brain moves back and forth within the skull, areas of varying density in the brain slide over each other at different speeds. Axons crossing these junctions experience tremendous shearing forces, causing them to stretch and tear from the cell body. This event is called axonal shearing, or diffuse axonal injury. Brain damage can continue to occur for hours or days after the initial injury. Damage to the axons can lead to a breakdown of communication among neurons in the brain. The torn axons quickly degenerate, releasing toxic levels of chemicals called neurotransmitters into the extracellular space. In turn, many of the surrounding neurons begin to die over the next 24 to 48 hours, worsening the initial effects of the injury.
Okay, I know there's a lot of advanced medical terminology in that video, but the part that we wanted to go over is just I wanted you to picture this network of brain cells, and in a concussion, that network starts to break down. And in the video, it also talks about how the damage can continue for days, hours, even sometimes weeks after the concussion. So are there any questions or comments about what we just watched? Thank you. Those are some good questions. So a major concussion can be determined by a CT or MRI, But most of the time, the concussions that might happen to your youth are going to be minor concussions, and they can only be determined and diagnosed by symptoms. The best way to diagnose that is to compare a pre-concussed condition to a post-concussed condition. This is done through baseline concussion testing. Does anyone know what baseline concussion testing is? Thank you. That's pretty close. Baseline concussion testing is done in a medical office, like you said, and it is type of computer game. It's a concentration game where the results are timed and then recorded and saved by your doctor. So then your doctor has that baseline results. After concussion, you would go back to your doctor, take the same test, and then they would be able to compare the post-concussed results with the pre-concussed results. And most of the time, the biggest symptom from a concussion is slowed reaction time. So this is one of the easiest ways for your doctor to diagnose a concussion. And chances are these tests are free at your doctor's office. At least they were for me when I had my boys tested. So our workshop tonight is focused on youth sports concussion awareness. And like we said before, all the sports tonight have a concussion risk. So I want you to be aware of what the symptoms of a concussion are. Just go ahead and shout out some symptoms. Great. I think you all covered all the symptoms. We're going to review them. Headache, nausea, difficulty concentrating, brain fog, agitation, even sadness, confusion, feeling tired or sleepy, balance issues, sensitivity to light and sound, blurred vision, and as we talked about before, slowed reaction time. Now your youth may have maybe one or even several of these symptoms. So if you observe any of these, it's important to pull them from the sport and get them to rest and sit out. And that's going to be one of the hardest things to do as a coach or an athlete or a parent. But that's one of the most important things. So let's say you've pulled them from the sport, you suspect a concussion, now what? If it's severe, please go to the hospital. If you think you can treat it at home, here are some suggestions. Simply put, let your brain rest and heal. Remember the video, that breakdown of the neurons starting to fail from damage? That brain needs to start to recover. So the best way to do that is to let it rest and heal. But we're dealing with youth here, focused on their phones, social media connections, online school, games, movies, electronic devices, and you're going to tell them to rest and heal? Yep. This means no electronics or books or even reading or anything for 24 to 48 hours. And I'll tell you, you are not going to be popular. But that's okay. You're the one helping their brain heal. And you've got to be strong enough to tell them no. They need to let their brain rest and heal. I want everyone to say that with me together. Ready? Let your brain rest and heal. Good job. Okay, as we talked before, get checked by a medical professional. If you suspect after they've been resting they're still having symptoms, please take them to your doctor and get them checked out. So now we're going to break into groups of 2 to 3 each, and I want you to spend a few minutes role playing. One person's going to be the athlete that got the concussion, one's going to be the parent, and one's going to be the medical professional or coach. Now, if we have any student athletes here tonight, I think it'd be fun if you pretended to be the parent and you had to tell your parent who's whining about wanting to be on their cell phone that they can't, because they need to take this concussion seriously. All right, let's pause here and go ahead and take a couple minutes. All right, great job. You guys did a great job. Thank you for helping with that activity. So, in conclusion, please don't be overly anxious for the athletes to jump back into the game. Remember, let the brain rest and heal. If anything, I hope you take that home with you tonight. The sooner you heal from a concussion, the less long-term effects you're going to have. And this may sound silly, but it's still true. Save your brain today because chances are you'll need it tomorrow. This is my website. I'm going to link the video that we watched tonight, this PowerPoint. I have several other resources there. This will be a great website for you to check out concussion symptoms, treatments, places where you can get baseline concussion testing. And thank you for coming tonight. If anyone has any questions, come up afterwards and I'll answer them to the best I can. Have a great season. See you later.